My name is Stephanie Ambrose Tubbs, and I am a longtime lover of Montana history. I'm not a native Montanan, but I chose to live in Montana, which I always tell my kids, and my husband ranks me even higher than the native Montanans. I don't know if that's true. But I am very excited about this project, and I really think that it's a way of opening doors to the next generation of history lovers, which is really important for our state and for our country. We really need to instill a love of history amongst our grandchildren, our children, because it's very important. And I'm sure you guys, as I'm speaking to the choir here, but I'm sure that you all appreciate that unless we turn on the next generation to history, we're doomed. So this entry is about the Gass Journal, Patrick Gass's journal. It is a small, delicate, seemingly insignificant book with a singularly long title, quote, "A Journal of the Voyages and Travels of a Corps of Discovery under the command of Captain Lewis and Captain Clark of the Army of the United States from the mouth of the River Missouri through the interior parts of North America to the Pacific Ocean during the years 1804, 1805, and 1806 by Patrick Gass, one of the persons employed in the expedition." One of the most significant things about it is the date of publication, July 7th, 1807, by Zadok Kramer of Pittsburgh for David McKeon, publisher and proprietor. It is the first published account of the Lewis and Clark expedition to emerge after the Corps returned to civilization in late September 1806. Although Meriwether Lewis granted permission to Private Robert Fraser to publish his personal journal, it seems to have come as a shock to Lewis when Gass, with the help of McKeon, a neighboring printer, issued the prospectus for the book at a time when Lewis's own journals languished unattended in his traveling trunks. A heated exchange of letters posted in the local papers indicated the dim view Lewis took of the publication of Gass's journal. Quote, "Several unauthorized and probably some spurious publications now are preparing for the press on the subject of my late tour to the Pacific Ocean by individuals entirely unknown to me," end quote. He warned readers not to be taken in by this proposed version, claiming that it would depreciate the worth of his own proposed 3-volume account. Not to be outdone, the editor, McKeon, countered with Lewis's own words of praise for Gass, and in a private letter to the captain added this scathing insult, quote, "I must pass over the unhappy affair with the Indians on the plains of the Marias River, also that very affection on your posteriors, and conclude with congratulating you that Mr. Gass's journal did not fall into the hands of some wag who might have insinuated that your wound was not accidental, but that there was consequence of design, that you, the hero, might not return without some scars, if not honorable, near the place of honor." Patrick Gass, whose dates are 1771 to 1870, was of Scottish heritage and a Pennsylvanian by birth, and recruited by Lewis in 1804 from Captain Russell Bissell's command at Fort Kaskaskia, Illinois. Once underway, the Corps of Discovery lost one man, Sergeant Charles Floyd, wherein Gass was elected to serve in his place. Patrick Gass was the third oldest of the unit, lived longer than any other member of the expedition, and is one of only 2 to be photographed. At the age of 59, he married a 16-year-old, Maria, and fathered 6 children. In post-expeditionary life, Gass maintained his spirit of adventure and willingness to serve his country. He fought in the War of 1812 and later served in Washington as a delegate on behalf of veteran pensioners. Although his original journal has been lost, we are fortunate to have this edition. Apparently, Gass's only compensation was 100 copies of his printed journal, which eventually went on to be published in 3 languages and in 4 countries before the official edition of the journals was published in 1814. It is valuable to Montana as one of the first written and published accounts of the northern Great Plains and the upper reaches and tributaries of the Missouri River. Although McKeon took some liberties with Gass's original account, the voice of the expedition's carpenter echoes through his journal. As Carol Lynn McGregor writes in her introduction to his journal, quote, "Readers can see the beauty Gass saw in trees, rivers, plains, and mountains, and his fascination with new sorts of people and animals as the unknown unfolded each day for a working member of the Corps." His journal includes keen observations on subjects others missed, and as such is an extremely unique part of the primary source materials related to the journals of the captains. Subsequent editions include whimsical woodcut illustrations by Matthew Carey. Montana Historical Society owns several editions of the Gass Journal. This one came to the Society on January 5th, 1912. On the inside cover is the information, "Bought in Wheeling, 10th of October, 1807, R. Graham." So the next entry I have is the Red Cross Memorial Quilt. The term quilt comes from the Latin word colchita, or colchita, which means stuffed sack. The memorial quilt in the collection of the Montana Historical Society is white with small red crosses, 4 medium-sized one in each corner and 1 larger one in the center. It is covered back and front with more than 1,300 names neatly embroidered in dark red thread. Names of contributors who wanted to do something meaningful for the boys over there. In the same year that Montana granted women the right to vote, America entered World War I, and the drought that would shatter the dream of homesteaders across the state loomed on the horizon. Montana women, like their sisters across the country, sought ways to assist their brothers in arms, and thanks to the American Red Cross, a war relief organization founded by a woman, their efforts were strongly encouraged. The founder, Clara Barton, known as the Angel of the Battlefield, nursed soldiers during the Civil War and so knew firsthand of the urgent need for medical services on the battlefield. In December of 1917, the women's magazine, Modern Priscilla, advised its readers of a quilt campaign which would use the Red Cross design based on a pattern by Clara Washburn Angle, to raise funds for the Red Cross to purchase ambulances, emergency equipment, and yarn for the war effort. The specifications for the quilt were very specific, and, quote, "No Red Cross emblem or name can be used in announcements or advertisements of such affairs unless the entire proceeds are to be devoted to the Red Cross. The entire proceeds, not net or half," end quote. Supporters would purchase 25 cents to $1 worth of space on the quilt where the donor's name would be embroidered. Most of the Red Cross quilts were raffled once finished. Few remain in personal collections. The quilt in the Montana Historical Society, made by the Ladies Auxiliary of the United Commercial Travelers, Council 349, Cascade County, in 1918 raised over $1,060.80. The hand of Mrs. R.B. Wilson's legibly renders each signature. Other quilters likely did the quilting, while Mrs. W.V. Roth of Great Falls, quote, "deserves great credit for the campaign," according to the newsletter for the UCT, which purchased the quilt in 1926, eventually giving it to MHS. The quilt is in good condition and served the dual purposes of raising funds and providing warmth for some lucky recipient. At a time when the United States government urged its citizens to make quilts, save blankets for our boys over there, the ladies of Cascade County took their duty to heart and stitched their patriotism into action. During the years of the First World War, the Red Cross membership exploded. In 1914, the local chapters numbered 107. In 1918, there were 3,864 chapters. While the Red Cross quilts came from all over the United States, this particular quilt is special. Not only did it raise the $1,000 needed by the Red Cross, the effort went above and beyond by $60.80. We didn't ask for it. People were interested and wanted to give, the local champions said. Thank you, and I hope you buy the book.